Magnus Carlsen as white against Alireza Firouzja as black. Move 4. Knight to c3 reinforces control, and black plays e6, solidifying the center and preparing full development. Move 5. Carlsen goes for g3, signaling a Catalan structure, and Firouzja accepts the pawn with d takes c4, stepping into dynamic territory. Move 6. Bishop to g2 applies long-term pressure, while black plays b5, holding onto the extra pawn. Move 7. White castles for safety, and black develops with bishop to b7. Move 8. Knight to e5. Carlsen centralizes aggressively, while Firouzja calmly plays a6, preparing expansion. Move 9. White strikes with b3, challenging the queenside, and black responds boldly with b4, gaining space instead of retreating. Move 10. Knight to a4 targets weak squares, while black pushes c3, creating a dangerous passed pawn deep in white's camp. Move 11. Carlsen plays a3 to undermine the structure, and Firouzja locks things with a5. Move 12. Knight to c4 improves coordination, while bishop to a6 from black develops with purpose. Move 13. Pawn takes on b4, opening lines, and black responds with bishop takes on c4, eliminating a key piece. Move 14. Pawn recaptures on c4, and black continues with pawn takes on b4, maintaining pressure. Move 15. Pawn to c5. Carlsen fixes the structure and gains space, while black calmly develops with bishop to e7. Move 16. Queen to b3 targets weaknesses, and Firouzja immediately strikes with queen takes on d4, activating in the center. Move 17. Bishop to e3 develops with tempo, and black slides the queen to g4, staying active. Move 18. Pawn to h3 kicks the queen, and it calmly drops back to h5, maintaining influence. Move 19. Queen takes on b4. Carlsen regains material, while Firouzja castles, ensuring king safety. Move 20. Knight takes on c3 removes the advanced pawn, and black responds with knight to d7, reinforcing the position. Move 21. Rook takes on a8, and black recaptures with rook to a8. Move 22. Bishop takes on c6, picking up material, while rook to b8 activates for black. Move 23. Queen to f4 centralizes beautifully, and black captures on c5 with the bishop, simplifying. Move 24. Bishop takes on d7, and knight recaptures. Material remains balanced but the position stays sharp. Move 25. Rook to d1 increases pressure, and Firouzja responds with e5, striking in the center at the right moment. Move 26. Queen to g4, and queens are exchanged. This game now transitions into a technical battle. Move 27. Pawn recaptures on g4, and black plays bishop takes on e3, keeping activity alive. Move 28. Rook takes on d7, Carlsen seizes the initiative, and black plays bishop to c5, holding firm. Move 29. Pawn to g5, white begins kingside expansion, while bishop retreats to f8. Move 30. King to g2 centralizes, and rook to e8 improves black's coordination. Move 31. Knight to e4 dominates the center, and rook to c8 gives black counterplay. Move 32. Rook to d5 increases pressure, and black holds with rook to e8. Move 33. King to f3 steps forward confidently, and bishop to a3 activates for black. Move 34. Pawn to e3 stabilizes, and bishop returns to f8. Move 35. King to g4 advances aggressively, and black plays king to h8, staying safe. Move 36. Knight to d2, regrouping, and black responds with g6, preparing resistance. Move 37. Knight to c4 improves positioning, and bishop to g7 strengthens black's setup. Move 38. Rook to d7 builds pressure, and king to g8 holds firm. Move 39. Knight to d6, an excellent outpost from Carlsen, while black defends with rook to f8. Move 40. Rook to e7 maximizes activity, and Firouzja strikes with f5+, creating counterplay. High voltage final phase. Move 41. Pawn takes on f6, and black responds with h5+, trying to generate complications. Move 42. King to h3, and rook takes on f6, black stays active. Move 43. Knight to e4 centralizes, and rook to f5 keeps pressure. Move 44. Rook to e6, and king to f7, black defends carefully. Move 45. Rook to a6, and bishop to f8 consolidates. Move 46. King to g2, improving safety, and bishop to e7 from black. Move 47. Pawn to f3 strengthens the structure, and king to g7 prepares defense. Move 48. Pawn to g4, and pawn takes on g4, tension rises. Move 49. Pawn recaptures on g4, and rook to f8 keeps activity. Move 50. Rook to e6, and bishop to h4, black seeks counterplay. Move 51. Rook takes on e5, and rook to a8 from black. Move 52. Rook to b5, and rook to e8. Move 53. Rook to b7+, and king to h6. Move 54. King to f3, and rook to f8+. Move 55. King to e2, and rook to d8. Move 56. Rook to b5, and bishop to e7. Move 57. Rook to e5, and bishop to h4. Move 58. Pawn to g5+, and king to g7. Move 59. Rook to e7+, and king to f8. Move 60. And finally, rook to h7, Carlsen seals it. Black resigns. This is elite chess in its purest form. Carlsen gradually improves, squeezes, and dominates the endgame. Firouzja fights creatively, but eventually gets overwhelmed by precision. A masterclass in control, patience, and conversion.